Hello all, welcome back, my live stream legends. And a small apologies because we got back a little bit late. That's my fault. You can mark me down at the end. I'll let you. Welcome back, my Foundry friends. A little note to the live stream legends. One of the reasons it was an hour long, as an hour-long break, is because took that long to get a coffee. The queues were extraordinary here. Anyway, welcome back. So, before the break, I hope, inspired you with what is going to be coming when it comes to pMax, all of the possibilities and potential of the future. And now we're back after the break. We are going to excite you about what it is possible to do right here, right now, my friends, when it comes to pMax. So whether you are a practitioner who is desperate to hear the latest updates in order to stay one step ahead of the game and the competition, or whether you simply want to get some top tips and techniques for making the very most of all of the features that you're currently using, we have something for everybody in the next 55 minutes, good people. So, to navigate you through the next 6 speakers in 55 minutes with all things pMax, product updates all the way through to feature deep dives, I'm very delighted to say it's not going to be me navigating the pMax equivalent of everything, everywhere, at all times. Okay, but I do want to introduce you to your host for the next segment. Would you give a very, very warm round of applause onto stage and on your screens to Matt DelRe.
Thank you, everyone. Matt DelRe, I lead the Global Product Leads team for Performance Max. I'm super excited to be here. Hope you all enjoyed the break, and welcome back to everyone on the live stream. I want to take a moment before we talk about Performance Max to try to change your relationship with AI. Right? People think about AI. It's new, it's complicated, in some ways it's uncomfortable. So I'm going to try something a little funny. Please come along this journey with me for a second. I'm going to ask you all to close your eyes and repeat after me. I am an instrument for profitable growth. 1, 2, 3. Nicely done, well done. Do you feel good? Didn't that feel good? All right, well, if you believe that, I hope everyone at home followed along. If you believe that, then AI gets a little bit less scary. AI stops looking like a big, complicated new wave of technology, and it starts to look like one of the most powerful tools for what you exist to do. Right? The biggest reported revenue effects of AI are in your profession, so you have a greater opportunity to leverage this new technology in service of that goal than any other profession that exists out there. And so this is an enormous opportunity. It's an opportunity I think we at Google have recognized in the way we look at our ad system. We started noticing that AI was working incredibly well in a lot of different places in our ad system a number of years ago. We saw sort of partial expressions of automation in AI. We saw fuller expressions of it for narrow use cases. And we said, what if we actually delivered the most full expression of AI that we've ever offered to the market? Something that delivers the best performance across all of Google's inventory from a single campaign. We set this as the North Star vision for this product. We're on the journey to delivering it. We're not all the way there, but we're part of the way there. And so we'll talk to you a little bit about the relationship between this and search in just a minute. But this is the vision for where we're going. This is what we think AI can help you do. If you care about profitable growth, we want to enable you to express that to the ad system and use AI to deliver on it. And so there's a lot of components to this. We think the ad system grows up a lot from here. And so pMax is probably the fullest expression of where this goes, but we'll do this in other parts of the ad system as well. At a baseline, AI needs goals. It needs you as marketers to express your goals to the system. And so pMax is primarily focused on the goals from about leads down on this slide. We have other ways of thinking about automation for those other goals. But if you see leads or online sales or something else as a primary goal for you, pMax exists to serve that goal. We've heard from many folks, particularly recently as the economy has evolved, that there are things that help you express profitable goals differently, like new customers are worth more or less than loyal customers to me, and I want to express that to the system, which is part of why we've added features against that as well. But we also know that as AI evolves, the inputs change. Right? And I think a lot of people have this preconceived notion that as AI evolves, there'll be fewer inputs. I think the right way to think about this, there'll be different inputs. Modern inputs related to what works best for AI. And so goal expression is core to that. We just talked about that. Value expression is core to that. Offering you deeper ways to express profitability is really important. But it also means that things like first-party data are something that we need to think about. How do we get that into the ad system? How does the ad system learn and go after the next profitable conversion for you based on that as an opportunity? And then something that we hadn't talked about a lot, and now we're starting to talk about a lot more, is how do you use AI to express yourself creatively in the ad system? We had some interesting launches. Some folks are going a little bit deeper today on how do we use generative AI, a different type of AI, to express yourself creatively in the ad system. Budgets and audience signals, and obviously for a lot of folks, really, really important brand safety guardrails are also really important inputs, and we want to allow those to be a big part of how you express yourself through pMax. And then lastly, just to talk quickly about outputs. So obviously results are the objective function, right? We want you to give us these inputs, and then output is you get the best performance you can get, the best profitable results you can get. But we also want to reassure you that the goals here are to give you insights. We want you to get better insights out of this system, more insightful, more actionable ways of understanding your consumers and your competitors and going after that opportunity. We want to make it easier to use. Obviously, for some small customers, this is about the workflows. For some large customers, this is about managing at scale, different versions of ease of use. And then lastly, it's about forward compatibility. We've talked a lot about how our consumer properties are iterating and that we have a vision for them iterating based on the opportunity AI presents on the consumer side. But as those properties iterate, we want to make sure you're invested in campaigns and ad serving technology that is forward compatible with those changes on the consumer side. And so that's part of the core promise of this product, is that we make it forward compatible as the consumer side iterates. All right, that's the long-term vision. Where are we today? Well, I think where we are today is that pMax is an incredibly powerful way to get the best of Google, but it needs to be paired with search. This is why we've launched this positioning. Search and pMax are the ads power pairing. I think I said yesterday it was like Jay-Z and Beyonce. Is that still relevant? So they go well together. This isn't just a marketing slogan, though. We've done a significant amount of research. We've taken a look, and we want to make sure that we're giving you the best possible advice. And so this, we believe, is the best possible advice for how to get the most from Google Ads. Search, traditional search campaigns, are still highly important to invest in and optimize. Those campaigns are used for the places where you need keywords to be most effective. We think broad match is the best way to do that using AI, obviously paired with automated bidding, and that will maximize conversions in spaces where keywords are a requirement, right? And then we go to pMax, and we say there's places across search and YouTube and all of other consumer properties where you don't need keywords, and pMax is the best way to get the most out of those spaces. We'll call them keywordless. Right? And so when you put these two things together, you get the best possible coverage, the best possible performance, and we'll keep you advised if we think this evolves, but we think this is the state we'll be in for a while. We think this is really how you'll get the best performance out of Google. And so the power pairing is really about how to get the best. And so we're repeating this so people know that we're not leapfrogging to a single campaign. These two things together is the right way to work with Google. All right. Last thing I want to cover before I bring the folks on stage is just a lot changes from here. This is a new way of thinking. We talk about this in terms of agility. How do marketers become more agile in the state? I won't run through all of these, but I want to name one or two. One is, as we get to this world of automation and AI, what becomes more important is clarity on KPIs. Right? What happens often is we hear profitability as a goal, but then a little bit downstream of that, someone starts talking about revenue instead of profitability, and a little bit downstream of that, somebody starts talking about CPAs instead of revenue. right? And that game of telephone isn't great. What you want is to get closer to that upstream goal and have a way to express that with higher fidelity. We think the AI system will allow you to do that. I will just jump to the last one, as we'll go a little bit deeper on these, is this idea of test and scale. pMax loves a test. We are availing more and more ways to experiment and test with pMax. We want you to understand exactly what you're getting out of the product. And so that's why we have some additional launches coming in this area. But we hope you'll test pMax. We'll hope you'll figure out that it is providing great results for you. And then as you do, you think about scaling that up. All right, so with that, I went quickly, but I wanted to save some time for our great legendary presenters that are going to talk about 4 different areas of the roadmap. These are very much driven by areas you all have given us feedback, places you want to see pMax evolve. So I'm going to welcome them to stage one at a time, and then we'll run through them. First, Carlye, welcome to the stage. Natalie, please come up and join us. Vishal and Amanda. Carlye, take it away.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Let's go to the next one. Hi, everyone. My name is Carlye Kosiak, and I'm the Global Product Lead on Insights. So first, to ground you all in the topic, I wanted to refresh you on what's available on the Insights page today for Performance Max. So the Insights page is meant to be the single place you can go to get contextual, automated insights for businesses of all sizes across all different channels and campaign types, especially for Performance Max. It should help you be able to monitor your performance, troubleshoot, understand larger happenings across the marketplace, and then lastly, optimize. So today we have 9 different types of insights that Performance Max campaigns are eligible to see. These insights will vary depending on fluctuations within the larger market, your competition, and then campaign fluctuations. So we usually talk about insights in isolation, but they're actually part of a much larger plan and vision for optimization, bringing context and automation to actionability in combination with OptiScore and recommendations. So today, I just want to deep dive on 3 specific areas that you can use to grow and optimize your Performance Max campaigns, starting with diagnostic insights and explanations. So diagnostic insights are available on the Insights page today, and you will see them if something is off with your campaign or account. This could be your campaign not getting any conversions or impressions or serving at all, or there could be a larger issue with your account and the way it's set up. Diagnostic insights are available immediately after campaign construction to help you along cold start. And then the team is actively building additional diagnostics as your campaign is serving to identify issues with its serving. Explanations are quite literally explanations on why fluctuations in performance are happening. They use analyzers or think of root causes across ads to surface ways that you can improve your account structure, your campaign, et cetera, in order to get the most out of your campaigns. And then lastly, think of using insights and explanations in combination with recommendations and OptiScore in order to drive actionability. So today, we have over 48 recommendations available for Performance Max campaigns, and that's everything from migrating all the way to getting budget recommendations in real time. The team is also building recommendations to assist you in campaign construction. Thinking of all of that, I also want to touch on what we have coming to you, and Tal actually briefly mentioned it this morning, but as we continue to build insights, we're focusing on net new insights, so brand new insights to the page itself, and then also expanding on existing insights. So search terms insights is something available today that hopefully a lot of you are aware of. But in the next version of it, we're actually launching a couple different features that we've heard asked by from all of you, honestly. So we're going to be launching the ability to export the data, to configure it and incorporate it in your own internal reporting. And then we'll also be including this insight in the Google Ads API later on next quarter. So again, you can use it to build it into your internal reporting capabilities. Thank you so much. I look forward to meeting a lot of you in product roundtables later this week. Next, Natalie.
Thanks, Carlye. Great. So here, I'm going to walk you through a few controls that you all can use to steer Performance Max's AI and automation. So a recent study from eMarketer showed that execs don't just care about driving revenue, but care about where that revenue is coming from and within their customer segments, especially as acquisition drives growth and retention drives profit. With this in mind, we know a customer lifecycle strategy is as important to you all, and I'm excited to share that within Performance Max, we're introducing customer lifecycle goals to help enable you all to reach the most profitable customers by driving acquisition and retention and ultimately growing lifetime value powered by your first-party data and value-based bidding. The new customer acquisition goal, which Tal touched upon at a high level before, enables you all to optimize to new customers in addition to your other goals like maximizing sales or generating high quality leads. The NCA goal is easy to set up within Google Ads, and we see that advertisers who adopt the NCA goal within Performance Max campaigns are driving huge results. Advertisers that highly value new customer acquisition improve ROAS by 9%, improve their new customer ratio by 5%, and reduced acquisition costs of new customers by 7%. The NCA goal is generally available today, and I'm also excited to share that we're in beta for NCA with high value optimization, which will help you optimize your Performance Max campaign by acquiring new customers with high predicted lifetime value for your business, in addition to optimizing just for new regular customers. This beta is opening this week. Additionally, as you saw at GML, we also recently announced that the pMax re-engagement goal feature within can help you optimize your campaigns to reach customers at every decision-making point in their lifecycle journey, like retention, re-engagement of returned customers. We're planning to launch the re-engagement goal beta in the third quarter of this year, so coming up soon. So make sure to reach out to your account team if you're interested in being an early tester. Finally, as you saw in February of this year, we launched account-level negative keywords where you can create lists of up to 1,000 keywords to help you maintain brand suitability and exclude traffic you don't want to reach throughout your account, specifically on search and shopping inventory. So in summary, when we think about pMax exclusions, we encourage you to first keep in mind that Google already works to block ads from serving on queries related to sensitive topics like profanity or violence. So ensure you're mindful about the exclusions you're adding to make sure you're not missing out on valuable conversions and limiting your reach and performance. Next, related to account-level negative keywords, we want you to use that as a tool to help you maintain your brand suitability on terms that you don't want serving across your account on search and shopping inventory. And then finally, as Tal mentioned before, with the new campaign-level brand exclusions feature, which will roll out in the next month to all advertisers, we want you to use that feature to exclude brand traffic that you want to avoid on search and shopping. And with that in mind, I'll hand it over to Vishal to talk about measurement and experimentation tools.
Thanks, Natalie. Hi, I'm Vishal, a product manager on experiments and Performance Max. Before we begin today, I'd like to ask how many people in this room had to prove the value of what they're doing to their bosses? Well, I have. And I'd like to show you how you can do that for Performance Max today. Starting off with experiments you must have used or have heard about so far. We have these A/B experiments for Performance Max, which can help you measure the benefit of adopting Performance Max alongside your existing campaigns, or even move to new campaigns. So we have two types of experiments available today. The first is the Performance Max uplift experiment, where you can run pMax alongside your existing campaigns to measure the benefit of cross-channel automation. The second, we have a pMax versus standard shopping experiment, where you can measure the difference between standard shopping and Performance Max campaigns and see if adopting Performance Max adds value to your business. Moving from experiments where you can measure and adopt Performance Max to experiments where you can optimize Performance Max. We've heard you need and understand that you want to see how different pMax features impact your business and how different inputs impact your campaign performance. So we're excited to announce that we're bringing Performance Max custom experiments later this year, where you can test different features and measure the benefit of adopting them. For example, you could test final URL expansion or value-based bidding to see how it impacts your campaign performance. That number on this slide says 64%, but I would say it's like 100%. a lot of you in this room have seen how Performance Max works and drives conversions for you, but we've heard a strong need to prove whether it's incremental. This is where Google's incrementality measurement tools come in and help you run experiments to measure the causal incremental benefit of your Google marketing campaigns. For performance advertisers specifically, we have Conversion Lift, which helps you measure how many net new conversions you're getting by running Performance Max. We're also excited to announce that we're bringing geo-based and user-based conversion lift testing later this year for Performance Max. Lastly, 2 quick experiment tips for you. 1, set a clear hypothesis and KPIs before you start running an experiment. 2, good things take time. So ensure that your experiment is running for 4 to 6 weeks to gather enough data. That's all we have on experiments. I'll hand it over to Amanda.
Thanks, Vishal. Hi, everyone. I'm Amanda Silvernale, and I want to spend a few minutes just covering some highlights of the work that we're doing to improve ease of use and workflows in Performance Max. Starting with recommendations and pre-fills, one of the top questions that we get from our customers when they're getting ready to launch a Performance Max campaign is what should they set their targets at? So we'll now be surfacing recommendations for things like bids and budgets based on your account's historic performance, taking the guesswork out of where to start and streamlining the construction workflow. The other area that we're investing a lot of time in is asset creation. Like Tal mentioned at the beginning, we understand that we ask a lot of you when it comes to assets in Performance Max, and we also understand that building assets can be pretty labor intensive and time consuming. That's why later this year, we'll be rolling out a revamped asset creation workflow that harnesses the power of Google AI to easily curate and generate high-quality text and image-based assets that you can use in your campaign. By just giving us your website as an input, we'll be able to generate headlines, descriptions, and even images that are highly relevant to your business. But I promise that you'll be in full control. You'll be able to review and edit these assets before they go live in your campaign, and you'll also be able to prompt our AI to generate a number of images that you can use throughout your campaign, making sure you have a wide variety of assets to run at any time. This AI will also scale and crop the images for you, so you don't have to worry about resizing and managing all of the specs that you need to maximize inventory on Performance Max. The last piece I want to cover is the work that we're doing with video creation. I am certain that your account reps have probably talked to you endlessly about the importance of adding video to your Performance Max campaign so that you can unlock all of the additional inventory and drive incremental performance. But we know building video can also be a challenge, which is why we've made the video creation tool accessible from the campaign setup, providing you access to a diverse range of templates for you to build vertical, square, and horizontal videos for your Performance Max campaigns. And in the future, you'll be able to use those AI-generated images in these templates as well, making sure that you can build highly customized videos that are in line with your brand and exactly what you want to have in front of your future customers. So these are just a few examples of the things that we're doing to improve workflows and ease of use, but expect a lot more from us in this area in the future.
Thank you, Amanda. Let's take a second. Thank you to the illustrious product group that presented up here. Are you excited about the roadmap, these new features, hopefully? Cool new launches, some of the stuff we've been hearing you ask about. So thank you all. If you're like me, you might be excited about roadmap, but you're also impatient. You want to drive that profitable growth today. You don't want to wait for the features that are coming. And so, lucky for you, our next presenter has been traveling around the world preaching pMax best practices, teaching marketers how to get the most profitable growth out of pMax today. Please welcome to the stage Global Product Lead for Performance Max, Priya Ramachandran.
Thank you so much for being here in hour 3 of this conference. Thanks for everyone on the live stream who's still hanging around with us. My name is Priya Ramachandran. I'm a global product lead focusing on Performance Max. I think we spoke a lot in the first hour and just before this about the groundbreaking technology that's powering Performance Max. That said, we do believe here at Google that behind every campaign success is you, the marketer, the agency, and the inputs that you provide to power our campaigns are really the critical difference maker in the results that you're able to drive. Performance Max is a platform. It's a great platform. It's a powerful tool. However, you're the ones in the driving seat. You're the ones who are providing the critical levers to steer this powerful technology. When, I don't know about the world travel piece, but I do get to meet with a lot of customers as part of my job. And I think I keep getting the question, some flavor of the question, what are best-in-class advertisers doing? Like, what does a best-in-class Performance Max campaign look like, right? And so if I'm interested in lead generation, what is advertisers that find success through using Performance Max for lead generation, what are they doing differently that I can emulate? And so over the next few slides, what I want to do is touch on at least some of these features. I only got time to speak to you about 10. There's like a lot more that I can spend time working through. However, let's go through at least some of the key features that you have access to today in any Google Ads account that you manage, any Performance Max campaigns that you can manage to get more profitable growth. The first one is conversion goals. Now, we spoke about this in various parts in the conference today. Accurately defining what is the goal that you want to set for your campaign, what is your business objective, how well can you translate that into an input that the campaign can take and optimize towards is super critical when it comes to Performance Max. Performance Max uses your expressed conversion goals as the primary optimization and targeting mechanism. So getting this step right, or as close to right as possible, is incredibly important. It's a very useful lever, and it is something that you can iterate on over a period of time, right? So to start thinking about it, getting started on that journey is going to set you up for success. For those of you who don't have conversion tracking set up today, this is definitely step one, right? Like thinking through, if you want to use Performance Max and you wanted to drive the right actions for your business, the right outcomes for your business, then setting up conversion tracking so that the campaign is optimizing to the right things is very, very critical. Moreover, if there are multiple conversion actions that you're interested in driving for your business, and you have a sense for which one is more valuable than the other, then again, communicating that back to the campaign is incredibly important. So you can do that through conversion values today. Again, these fundamentals are not specific to pMax, but pMax is well positioned to get you maximum sort of, achieve the headroom that's available there, as long as you're able to tell us exactly what you're looking to drive for your business. So passing back conversion values at the time of the conversion, if that's possible, best case situation, the campaign knows exactly what to drive to drive profitable growth for you. The one other thing I would say is that in terms of just like touching on the best practices piece, if you have been running performance campaigns in the past, outside of pMax, so you're already running search campaigns, you're already running other campaigns you deem to be, DR, lower funnel, using those same conversion goals for your Performance Max campaigns is an easy setup and is also a best practice. Right? There's a lot of cross-learning that happens at the conversion action level. Using the same goals for your Performance Max campaigns can sort of set you up for success from the beginning. Very much in line with this idea of making sure that goal expression is accurate and as close to reality as possible, is this idea of preparing your campaigns for the future. Right? I mean, the fact of the matter is that the privacy landscape is constantly evolving, constantly changing. Data is becoming scarce. And so being able to really accurately go from a click on your website to a conversion and back to your campaign in a way that you can constantly optimize and iterate and get value out of it is going to get harder and harder. So you all know this regulatory space way better than I can ever explain this to you. So as you're thinking about your journey on Performance Max, whether you're going to start now or whether you've been running the campaigns, want to learn want to think through how to grow that, having some of these measurement fundamentals in place in parallel is also going to be very critical. right? So there will be gaps in reporting and measurement, and you want to make sure that you are trying, you're thinking through how you want to sort of help reduce those gaps. So a couple of features that we have been recommending at Google, even outside of pMax, these are just measurement best practices, period, are enhanced conversions and consent mode. So for folks who are not aware, I can give a really quick high-level overview of what enhanced conversions does. So essentially, there's a user, they view an ad or click an ad, your ad, go to your website, convert there. What this mechanism helps do is that the advertiser then sends back hashed information. That information could be a field that you determine, say the email address of the user. That hashed information is sent back to Google in a privacy-safe, secure manner. Google then uses that hashed information to connect it back to a user based on Google's signed-in data. So the user signed-in data, when they actually convert it on your website, is matched with this hash data, and then we're able to attribute that conversion back to your campaign. Why is this important? In the absence of this connecting of the dots, your campaign doesn't know who converted and how to find more users like that previous conversion. And so just to make sure that you have a path to growing with all of the constraints and the regulations in place, enhanced conversions are something that you should start thinking through. Enhanced conversions for web is what I just described. You also have enhanced conversions for leads. Now this is to be able to do the same connecting of the dots when the conversion or the sale is actually happening outside of your website. So again, you will have a way to upload it into your CRM systems, port it back to Google Ads, do the same kind of matching so that you're attributing the right conversions to the extent possible back to your campaign. So keep both of those in mind, start looking into this. I know none of this is easy to set up or turnkey. However, we at Google are trying our best to make that so. I just wanted to get this on your radar so you start thinking about it. Consent mode is another feature that helps with this sort of connecting of the dots. Consent mode will adjust your conversion tags based on the consent status of the user. So we'll know if someone has not consented to being, has a certain consent status in place, you'll know whether to model that conversion or if you'll be able to accurately attribute it back to your campaign. And you can adjust based off of that. So again, another very critical feature to be used in tandem with enhanced conversions. The third one is value rules. So value rules are another really interesting way of you providing your business input back to the campaign. Business input, secret sauce, think of it as you may, but information that you have on your business or your client's business that you want to be able to pass back to the campaign in an easy manner and in a way that can be iterated over a period of time. Value rules are essentially rules that you will set, you will layer onto your pMax campaigns and say that all conversions, of all of the conversions that I get, the conversions that I get from certain segments are more valuable to me than regular conversions, if you will. Right? Those segments that you can use to set up these rules are user lists, geographic locations, or devices. So you can set up a rule that says anyone that converts from my past visitors 30 days user list is worth 2 times more than other conversions. Easy enough to set up. You can do this at the account level if the same rule applies to all of your conversions across all of your campaigns, or you can set it up at your campaign level. So this is a solid insight that only you have about your business that you can provide literally from day one to already set the wheels in motion towards optimizing towards your most profitable users. Also, conversion value rules will apply. You can apply them to your campaign whether or not you're already tracking conversion values. So if you go back to step 1 that I spoke about, where you can assign a value to every conversion that you track on your website, even if you're doing that step, you can overlay this on top of that, because this is basically adding another layer of information on which, from having run campaigns for many, many, many years before pMax, you have this insight that you can provide to your campaign. all of this only works when you have the right bidding strategies in place. Your bidding strategy should be, you already know this, very much in line with the goals for your campaign. So if you're looking to drive conversions and volume, pMax supports maximize conversions as a bidding strategy. You can optionally set a CPA target. However, if you're using conversion value rules and you are able to pass back conversion values in any other form, then the best practice is to use maximize conversion value, right? The assumption is that here you're giving us a full sort of accurate representation of what each lead or each sale is going to mean for your business. And again, you're optimizing towards growing that portion of your business. Speaking of targets, I think Amanda touched upon this a little bit. We always get questions about what to set targets as for your pMax campaign. The general guidance we've always given is that use your account's average CPA or ROAS, the blended average CPA or ROAS, as a starting point, and then you can always optimize from there on. Obviously, when you have more tools like in-construction recommendations and things like that, that can also set you up for success there. The thing to keep in mind is that for existing campaigns, optimization score recommendations are your best friend because they will surface recommendations on increasing targets, moving around unused budgets between campaigns, things like that, in case there's a difference in seasonal demand and things that you can take advantage of. This is something that will, in real time, at the right moment, surface to you. You can always use that as an indicator of when to optimize your campaigns. But in general, I think the mental model is that you set something up to start off with that you feel is a good translation of what your business is willing to pay for that lead or the sale, and then optimize from there on. On the budgeting piece, again, you have OptiScore recommendations that tell you if there's an opportunity to raise budgets and get more sales. You also have Performance Planner. Performance Planner is our flagship planning tool, has been available for other campaign types for a while now. pMax is fully supported in that. And so you can plan your budgets up to 18 months out. This is a good time because I know a lot of businesses are thinking through annual planning and things like that. So you can get a sense for, given your current settings, given your competitive space, given seasonality, how much headroom there is to grow at any at your ROI curve, and sort of where you'd want to make that trade-off. So great tools, all of this is available. The one key takeaway I want you to take away from this whole section on bidding is that smart bidding best practices all apply to Performance Max. There is no relearning required. There is no resetting required. Everything, all the expertise that you've developed from years of managing search campaigns, all of those apply to Performance Max. So the way you think about optimization, the way you think about target setting, the way you think about budget and targets and sort of how those interact, all of those will apply to Performance Max campaigns. Like I said, the only thing to keep in mind is that this is a cross-channel campaign. There's a lot that you are getting, and there's a lot that the bidding algorithm is learning and able to optimize based off of the fact that you're serving across all of these inventory sources. So it's able to take a signal from someone interacting on YouTube, then interacting on display, then potentially converting on search. It's able to use and connect all of those dots and attribute credit in the right way. So know that cross-channel bidding is doing a lot of that underneath, just making sure that you're, from a bidding and best practices standpoint, you're following a lot of what you've been following on search. The fifth key lever, I would say, is assets. I hope a lot of what we presented in the roadmap section around generative AI creatives and all of that was inspiring and interesting for you. I think one of the key reasons that we're investing so much time and energy and resources, there are 4 people from our creatives team who have traveled all the way from the States to speak to you, is that creatives have an outsized impact on how Performance Max serves. Assets fundamentally determine if you can even access certain inventory on the internet through Performance Max. And then we are making more and more inventory monetizable through sort of in general that Performance Max automatically gets access to. So think YouTube Shorts, for instance, right? So when we made ads on Shorts available, those were automatically accessible to Performance Max. Now, making sure that you have the right assets in your campaign to take advantage of this at the right time is sort of critical from an optimization and a setup standpoint. Asset quality is key to engage with the right audience. Asset variety is also key, just to make sure, like I said, you're set up to take advantage, to take full advantage of what this campaign offers. In fact, don't take my word for it, we've been running experiments constantly to make sure that you have a compelling reason to believe that assets are sort of a key optimization lever for you. And so we ran experiments that showed that advertisers that included at least one video in their Performance Max campaigns saw an average increase of 12% additional conversions. 12% additional conversions over and above the performance benefits you're already seeing from moving to a cross-channel automated campaign. So very compelling reason. Start sort of thinking about what levers, what tools are already available to you that you can use if you're not using video on your pMax campaigns. Or if you're thinking about setting up your campaign, start thinking about asset coverage there. And on the point of coverage, we also saw that advertisers that include at least one video of each orientation to their Performance Max campaigns deliver 20% more conversions on YouTube. Again, super compelling stat. Think about it just as you've been thinking about variety on your text assets and making sure that you're testing different messaging. This is a way to do that with your video assets as well. Perfect. Moving on. Brand suitability and brand safety, we know, are extremely, extremely important to all of you. The requirements and the needs and the sentiment around this varies by region, but fundamentally we know that you need control over some of these things. Google fundamentally has a lot of guardrails in place in terms of which publishers can even run ads, like which publishers and which placements are even monetizable. So there are those guardrails in place. But that said, even if a lot of display websites and YouTube videos may not be compliant with all of our policies, they may not quite be in line with where you want to serve your business as ads on. You will have your own policies and requirements around that. And so there's a suite of brand safety and suitability features, and that's the suitability piece that I'm talking about specifically, where we're providing support for pMax in existing features. Sorry about that. Dry mouth from talking so much. And also building new features to support, like Matt said, based on all of the feedback we got from all of you from having run the campaign for over the last year. And so I'm going to quickly run through the high-level list that we have here. Again, this is just a short list of features, by the way. Again, limited time, so I won't take you through the laundry list of features that are supported on pMax today. But it's good for you to know high level. Brand safety, keyword exclusions at the account level. Natalie spoke about this. If you have brand safety reasons for wanting to not show up on certain searches, the assumption is that you have those same constraints on your standalone search campaigns as well. So you can manage this at the account level, will apply to every existing and new search and pMax campaign. A similar setting exists on the display and video side. So content exclusions are available at the account level, apply to display and video inventory across the account, will apply to existing pMax and existing and new pMax campaigns on the display and video inventory. Content exclusions are of various types. One of them, for an example, is content keywords. So if you provide a list of keywords, of content keywords that you don't want to serve ads on, it'll prevent your ad from serving on display websites, apps, videos, YouTube channels that are related to those words. So at a topical level, you can sort of segment out certain words that you don't want to serve ads against. Placement exclusions, another really great lever. Account level, so if you have brand safety reasons, you're probably looking to exclude them across your display and video inventory, will apply to your Performance Max campaigns as well. You can specify display placements, YouTube channels, YouTube videos, apps that you don't want to serve ads on. And the last one is campaign-level brand exclusions. I know we spoke about it in the sense of optimizing towards ROI, but then there are advertisers who told us that they have compliance reasons for not wanting to serve on certain searches and PLA placements, and so campaign-level brand exclusions help you do that. The one thing fundamentally to keep in mind, again, going back to the idea of like best practices as you're cleaning up your account or setting up your first Performance Max campaign, looking through, because a lot of these have existed for some time now. So looking through your legacy exclusions, making sure that those are still relevant to you, removing the constraints that you don't need anymore, that kind of thing, will automatically impact any new campaign that you create in the account. So just making sure that you're not artificially constraining volume where you don't need to, because the more guardrails you have in place, the more trade-offs you're making in terms of performance. Perfect. URL expansion. Love this feature. URL expansion is probably, I would say, the easiest way for you to scale your campaign efficiently. What URL expansion helps you do is when you're setting up your campaign, you will provide a list of landing pages, like a landing page per asset group. URL expansion helps you sort of expand that pool to more landing pages that roll up to the same domain. Right, so domain.com/landing page 1 is your original landing page. If we find that taking users to a different page on the same domain is likely to get them to convert, then with this setting turned on, we will expand to domain.com/landing page 2. And then to make sure that the ad is actually super relevant to where we're taking the user to, we will also customize the headlines and description lines based on the content of the new landing page. Make sure you're showing the right ad to the right user in a way that will get them to convert. And then you also have a way to ensure that you're not driving traffic to certain pages that you don't want to drive traffic to, right? So if you have a About Us page, a Help page, a Contact Us page, you don't want to necessarily be sending traffic to that. You can use exclusions with this feature turned on, right? So the settings you basically have are all domain, none of this, like have URL expansion turned off, so you only send traffic to your landing pages, and then all domain minus some exclusions. The page feeds feature that we talked about earlier is a good complement to this, or you can use it instead of URL expansion, where you are basically providing a list of feeds, a list of pages that you want to drive traffic to. So that's sort of an in-between state. But I think with all of these conceptually, what we're trying to drive home is the fact that there is the way users interact with various portions of your website. They may not always interact with your the conversion page that you've driven there. There might be other signals and other activities on your website that may get them to eventually convert. So kind of opening that up to them. And this especially has an impact on the search queries that you can match within your Performance Max campaign. So you're opening up that search headroom within your campaign. So highly recommend looking into this. Just one note I will say is that when your campaign is set up to only optimize to store goals, you may not have access to this feature. For every other configuration, you should be good to go. Audience signals enable you to provide the audiences that are more likely to convert for your campaign. Again, this is a signal that you provide when you're setting up your asset group. So what happens is when you're creating an asset group, you'll get to attach one audience signal per asset group in your campaign. And think of an audience signal as a profile. It's a profile that you're creating of your ideal converting user. Again, solidly an insight that you've had from many years of having run campaigns. So you define that every audience signal is composed of audience segments. And so an example of an audience signal is females of the age 24 to 55 who are in market for used cars, right? So this is your ideal converting user. you would express that in the form of a profile or an audience signal, attach that to your asset group. You can customize your assets to speak to that particular audience. This signal won't be used as a hard targeting mechanism. You already know this about Performance Max. It will use that as a signal to learn from day one and then expand on to newer users that are also likely to convert, who have the same propensity of converting on the internet, and go after them. Again, one thing to note here is that audience signals are not available for Performance Max campaigns for store goals. So at this point in the summit, we've already talked about like 3 different ways in which you can use some form of audience expression to optimize your campaign. So I'm just going to take, I swear, 1 minute to quickly run through all of these features so you have a sense for where they all sit, where you would use each, and if you can use all of them together. No harm in that. So the first one, audience signals, just spoke about that. Profile that you set up at your asset group level. You can do that on day one. You can do that when you're optimizing. Ideally, customize your assets to that audience. Also, one quick add here is that I always get questions around how many segments should I add to my audience signal? Like, is there a limit to that? I would say the number doesn't matter so much, right? Like, there isn't really a maximum number of segments that, or an ideal number of segments that you should add. It's more so how closely does it align with your idea of your ideal user. And so if it's as broad as females in the age group of X to Y, that's fine to use as your audience signal. If it's more specific than that, then you can use that as an audience signal. So getting it as close to your understanding of your user is really helpful. And then you also have insights, like Carlye spoke about. So insights are what is making AI explainable, right? So it is telling you when you let Performance Max run, these are the audiences that you're actually reaching. These are the segments that you're actually reaching. So that gives you an additional level of information from just having run the campaign. You can use that to optimize again if you need to. Audience-based value rules, we spoke about this earlier. You can set up a rule that an audience, if a user is in market for running apparel, multiply by X, use value-based bidding. We will over-index on those users. And the new customer acquisition, if you know that you value new customers more than existing customers, and you have a rough sense of how much more valuable they are, express that through NCA. All 3 of these, by the way, can live in the same campaign. They don't conflict with each other. So if you have a sense for what, have an expression for all 3 of these, you can use all 3 features. Location targeting seems like a small enough feature, but just wanted to clarify that location targeting, and it's not on the slide here, but even day parting, all of these features are supported in Performance Max as well. By default, location targeting includes both physical locations and locations of interest, but then post-campaign construction, you can always go back into advanced settings and then change it to from presence and interest to only presence, if that makes sense for your business. The last one, I promise. I've come to the end of my listicle. Do we still use that? Seasonality adjustments and data exclusions. Now, this is a quick callback to my earlier point that all smart bidding best practices apply to pMax, period. Seasonality adjustments are a way for you to inform Performance Max's bidding strategy of any upcoming changes that you're aware of in terms of conversion rates. So ahead of promotions, ahead of sales periods, ahead of some sort of expected peak in demand, that's likely going to change your conversion rates, but you don't want the bidding strategy to anchor on that longer term. You can sort of indicate that through seasonality adjustments. You should only use that for short periods and events. So anything ranging from between 1 to 7 days, this is fine to use. Anything longer than that, smart bidding is already learning and optimizing to it at that point. And so you can sort of, it'll already calibrate on its own. Anything shorter than that, feel free to use this feature. Data exclusions, not to be confused with seasonality adjustments. Data exclusions are to be used when there are, when something breaks on your website or your tags or some conversion, tracking issues that you're aware of that the campaign may not know of. And so for these kind of bugs, you can just determine, I want to exclude everything from a certain period. So with that, I've come to the end of my section and the content portion of the summit today. Thank you for listening patiently and for letting me talk at you for this long. Ruben, I'll bring you up on stage.
Priya's going to have a little lie down now, and well earned, I think. Well earned. How are we on time? We're almost exactly on time. So look, first of all, both in the room and also my Foundry friends, as I've called you, and my live stream legends as well. Could I have one final, very large round of applause, not just for all of the speakers we've just seen, but all of the speakers across the pMax conference.